Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and good evening, and maybe even good morning. And I want to thank everyone who is joining us today here. This is another live session on my page here. I am Cicely, basically a nurse residing in Texas, running this online business, and being very proud to say that. And there's a special. It's a special day, and this is one of part of a series of my live sessions, which I'm trying to break not the conception, break the misconception that this business is for nurses. I don't know how that's out there. For some reason, there's a misconception that this business is for nurses and only nurses are running this business. So I have been saying that is not true, but my words are not powerful unless I bring the evidence. So that's what I'm trying to do, bringing evidences on my page to prove that not just the nurses doing this business, many professionals from other, all the parts of all the different fields, people are joining this business. So I had here engineers, IT professionals, restaurant managers, technicians, public sector workers, and even in the medical field, different medical professionals. So as part of that, I have two doctors here who are into this business and crushing this business. I have to use the word crushing because that's what they're literally doing. And they both are from UK, Dr. Susie and Dr. Mano, and I'm very pleased to welcome both of them to my page. And I'm extremely thankful and grateful that they are here. They had a very busy, hectic day, and I know they were busy seeing patients, a lot of things to do, and they came home in the evening. It's 7:30 p.m. for them. It's time for them to rest, go to get their stuff done at home, but they found some time for me here to be present on my page. Dr. Susie and Dr. Mano, thank you so much for being with me here today. And I would like for to introduce yourself, but I would let you do that. Dr. Susie, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Cicely. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll just like to introduce myself for the benefit of Cicely's page and all our pages. So my name is Dr. Susie Jacob. I am a business coach in the business that we do. I've been now doing this business for 2.5 years. By training, I'm a general practitioner, which is, I believe, you call primary care physicians there in the US. So that's what I do here in the UK. And I live in the UK with my husband, who is a private chef by background. And because of this business, I retired him just 14 months into the business. I've completely been able to retire him because of, the business and investments that I've been able to do. And also, we have a 16-year-old daughter. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Susie. And Dr. Mano, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Cicely, again for inviting me as well today. Yes, my name is Mano, and I'm a doctor, and I'm originally from Sri Lanka. Currently, I work in the UK, and I live with my husband, who is a pharmacy technician, and I have two teenage kids, 18 years and 14 years old. And so, yes, my career as a doctor is about 20 years, but in this business, my career is about like less than 1 year, maybe 7-8 months so far. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I know we see lots of medical professionals and everybody joining this business more and more because everyone is looking for an extra stream of income. And once you find this business and once you find the potential, then why not? There is no reason not to join this business. So I do have a few questions for both of you, Dr. Susie and Dr. Mano. I think I will start with Dr. Mano. So there are people out there who wants to join this business, and when they join, there are people are worried about 2-3 things in the first place. The first one is this business is legal? Is this a scam? Will they lose money? And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take much to clarify that. That will be clarified initially. Okay, this is legal, no issues. But the next concern will be, will I be able to do this? Is this something for me? Will I be successful in here? So that will be the second question. So if anybody is there, what would you say? Like, if someone asking you, who can do this business? Will I be able to do this business? What would you say?
Yes, Cecily. So, yeah, as a doctor, my career is, as I said, about 20 years. So I actually don't know anything else because I've been doing this for so long. So I didn't have much time to do anything else. But in this business, I mean, anyone can do this business. We have all the careers, as you said, not only doctors or nurses. There are engineers, lawyers, IT specialists, even stay-home moms. And any person can, if they like, they can start and do this business successfully. Because the reasons are, I mean, we have a very good training site in this business, which is, it's extensive and there's no rush. You can use your own time to do that, and there are plenty of resources in the training site. And also there are weekly masterminds, weekly Zoom meetings. So if you think you don't have knowledge, like I never had any business knowledge, any marketing knowledge. So I was just doing one career and mainly on science side. So that was my life so far. But I learned everything during this short period of time, only using this platform, the training sites they have given for a very cheap money, actually. And also, I mean, look at my life now. I work full time, like ideally it should be like 9 to 5:30, but usually I go at 8:30 and I come home by 6:30 or 7. So because we have to be, we have to put little bit more time on the job as well. So even with that, I'm doing that because we have a time freedom. I mean, I don't have any timed task. There are no time sensitive things to do, and you can work in your own schedule, own speed and own time, and whenever you need you can take a break. And so that's the thing. And not only my job, I have other things as well as everyone else. Like, I have my kids and I have duties to my home house things, and I have to look after my parents, and we all have community things. So among all of that, still we can run this business in addition to our job because of this time flexibility. Also, the other good thing is this business is very well automated. So yeah, I do little things, but most of the things are happening with automation. So I mean, it's very convenient for anyone. I mean, even whether you are busy or not, I mean, it's very helpful. Apart from that, now we have Susie here, business coach, and she will be always there for me to ask any advice. And I have a mentor too. I'm a mentor, but I have a mentor too, which will be much more experienced than me. So we have a very supportive team. Apart from that, we have some small groups, and we have a global team of huge number of people in the business. So it's a really helpful platform. And also, if you consider, for my job, I have to go to the hospital, or in future it will be digital, but still, I mean, you need a place and you need to sit down and do. But this business you can do from anywhere while traveling. I mean, because there's no definite place, so I don't think there are any restrictions. And the resources, I mean, you will need only a phone or a laptop and Wi-Fi. So I mean, if someone thinks that it's not possible for them, I mean, I I can't think why. I mean, anyone can do this, and I think this is an opportunity because um, for me, I mean, I will have to work till retirement, like 65 years. And I have seen a lot of doctors coming back to work even after retirement, after 65 on contract basis to earn more. And so I don't think that's life. And I never want that. I mean, I want something with time freedom, money freedom, and yeah. So I think this one is the perfect platform for anyone, any professional or non-professional or stay-home mom. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mano. Yeah, that's one thing I was thinking too when I was starting this business. I had multiple reasons, like my parents, my kids, but this was one of the things that to retire when I want to. Not that I want to, like for me to retire, I have to work till age 65, and I work in an emergency room. And to work in ER settings for until 65 years of old, I don't know. Maybe I'll be fine. I don't know. So that was my thing too, to leave an option open for me. Like I always think, when the work becomes your choice, it becomes fun, but it's forced, then it becomes a burden. So that's my one of my goals to make an option open for me to retire whenever I want to. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Manan. I wanted to ask both of you. I know you both are doctors. I think Dr. Mano kind of mentioned that. She already mentioned that part. The both are doctors. I know UK, doctor in UK, well paid. I know we have a good life status, everything. So what made you think of an online business? What made you like a business person? What was the why behind it? Dr. Susie.
Yeah, so that's a very, very common question people ask me, especially like you're a doctor. When I actually joined the business, like, I was already earning like six figures and things like that. So why did you want to do a business? For me, it was more than the money, it was the time freedom. Because to earn that much, I was working anything between 9 to 12 hours for up to 6 days a week. So I had to put in all. So basically I was trading my time for money. And when you do that, you're sacrificing something. For me, my biggest sacrifice was my time with my family, with my daughter. So that was a big sacrifice. And each time when I came home, I was so irritable. I was angry all the time because, when you do too much work, you're stressed. And then, when you come back home, you don't want to do anything else other than, relax. And I used to binge watch Netflix and Prime, thinking, to relax and things like that. So at the end of the day, when you look at it, is that really life? Are you having any kind of family life? No, I wasn't. But that was not, it was always there in the back of my mind. But the other thing was mainly COVID. When COVID, opened my eyes to the reality of things. During COVID, during the lockdown, my husband couldn't work at that point in time. So we had only one person's salary. Yes, I was earning quite well, but you have to imagine my husband was equally earning. It was just earning little less than me. So, imagine losing one whole chunk of money. Some people will think, oh, you were earning that. Well, yeah, but he was earning equally as well. It's just a little bit less than me. And it was a big chunk. He was supposed to swap jobs. And then obviously COVID came and they didn't want anyone to come into the homes that time, of course. And then that made me realize, oh my God, he's not working. Now COVID is there. I'm going to work every day. I am seeing patients. What if I catch COVID? What if I can't work because if I catch long COVID or something like that, you have a bit of time, maybe you can take sick leave, or some places you can take sick leave, or you can take some annual leave, but there's a limit to how much you can take leave. After that, it will be loss of pay, isn't it? And then my husband's not working. That means if something happens to me, we lose the house, we lose everything, car, house, everything that comes with it, isn't it? So that was a very scary thought for me, that there is a possibility. The other thing, most importantly, because there was a point when there were lots of Black men and Asian men dying. So I was like, what if I come home and I give this to my husband or my daughter? It's the worst thing ever. Because of you, something happens to your family. Yeah. So those were really eye openers for me. And then, of course, COVID itself was a very stressful time with people around me dying, patients dying, us dealing with coroners, death certificates, all that. Then, of course, your family strains and things that come with it. And I realized at that time, till then, because both of us are earning quite well, I was like, we were like comfortable. We were comfortable, not entirely happy because we were arguing a lot, but I think people at one point think that is normal. And now I look at it, I think that is not normal. That is not normal. Really, that's not normal. Like now, when I think of it, I went back to work when my daughter was 10 months, so I didn't see her walk the first time. My mother took a video, and I was doing night shift, and she sent it to me, and I was crying the whole time seeing the video, and then I tell myself, but that is what parents do. Parents have to go to work to provide for the children.
Right.
But and like for me, I'm like, no, that is not normal. You missing your child's milestone is not normal.
Right.
And you should not be in a position, you should never be in a position where your work takes priority than your family and the time that, because the thing is, your children are growing fast. My daughter is going to university next year. We were talking today, half an hour was talking with me, so she was telling me all the list of the universities that she's interested in going and why she wants to go there. Now I can have a conversation with my daughter, and we were discussing why that university might be better than the others. I have the time now to do that because I am my own boss. I've been able, from working 5-6 days a week, now I work equivalent to 3.5 days a week, spread over Monday to Friday. So I have time to spend with my daughter, and I'm earning enough to supplement, more than, a GP's. Like this is just what we are in, ninth, 10th day of the month. I've already surpassed my income as a general practitioner this month. So that is the potential of this business. And people, when we tell them that this is possible by working 1 hour a day, just either go on holiday work, or while you come back from work. Today I had a very busy day, but in spite of that, money is just coming in the background. And I'm doing what I love. I'm although I'm very busy, I'm preparing now to teach my GP trainees tomorrow, and I love teaching. So now I'm able to do what I want to do at when I want to do, really. So it's just been amazing. And like what you said, Cicely, correctly, it's not that we don't love our jobs. We do. That's why we do our jobs. But I always believe less is more. When you do less, you will enjoy what you do. And when you have the some freedom over, or some control about what is your work schedule, you love your job. And that's what's happened to me. I'm now working part-time, and I'm doing like several things. I do management, I do teaching, I see patients online, I do MDTs, all those sort of things. And I love it because it's not like taking the whole day. Some days I work only 4 hours, some days I work 6 hours, some days I work 8 hours. It's so variable. Some days I work just 4 hours. Yeah. So I have now control. And before, I couldn't imagine just working 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford it.
Therefore, yeah.
I couldn't afford it. So yeah, so that is what I'm trying to say. That is the potential of this business, and that is why I wanted my life back. I wanted control over my life back, and that is why I'm doing this business.
Great. Yeah, that was a very good story. I'm sure everybody has like a story behind whoever stepped into this business, and that's a very touching story. And so yeah, for me too, it was my parents and my kids. Like for me, I want to go see my parents more frequently, and they cannot travel anymore to come here, and I don't want to compromise. And this is one thing I always say. For me, my parents are my kids. They are like two sides of a coin. Like I cannot ignore my kids to take care of my parents. I cannot ignore my parents to take care of my kids. I have two kids like at the same time in the college, and the college fees, and I'm trying to help them to spend their loan, with their loans, and that I can't. And how much overtime I did 4-5 days a week of overtime, and it came to a point where like I can't do this anymore. I need something else. And like Dr. Susie said, COVID, I remember those in the ER, how I don't want even to talk about those were like one of those traumatizing days. I remember the days I stayed in the hotel. I was so afraid to come back home. And I really wished at that time if I had something else other than this. And that's what the first time that thought came into my mind, even though it took a while for me to enter this business. Dr. Mano, do you have anything to say specifically on what led you to this business?
Yeah, I think, as Susie said, I mean, I've lost a lot of, I've missed a lot of, milestones and important things in my kids. And I lost a lot of time with my kids actually already. And also I was feeling that, this persistence, it cannot be continued. I mean, we think this is the best because we like our job and we think we are proud about our job and we love this profession. So we keep thinking, okay, this is the best. We are having the best life. But actually, I got that feeling, okay, I can't, I will not be able to continue the same ways. I don't have the same energy, so I need a plan B. I mean, although the doctors or whatever the higher professionals say they have a good salary and things, they always still have to plan the holiday, right? So I don't think there is a real financial flexibility, then financial freedom, because then you should be able to spend money like, freely, but it's not there actually. So you have to keep working hard throughout. So I always thought I should have a plan B, but I never found a one. So until I found incidentally this opportunity. So my idea was that I need to be prepared. I never faced the COVID situation because my job was different. I'm not dealing with patients, so I was with microscope and slides. That's my job. I'm diagnostic clinician, so I didn't have that crisis. But I thought if I had a crisis, I mean, if I can't work? I mean, that's a possible thing. So I was always finding, searching for an option to be prepared, and then I found that. And when I saw an opportunity, I never hesitate. So that's the thing. So that's how I started, and that's my why.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mano. Yeah. Dr. Susie, I have another question. This is a question we get a lot from many people, or we can call it a concern of the people, because they think it's pyramid scheme. This business is a lot of people are, is this a pyramid scheme? Is this a money chain scam? You call it different names. So I'm sure there'll be people out there who still seeking answer for these questions. Would you please explain or answer those questions?
Absolutely.
I know you are a business coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, in the fairness of people who ask the question, it is a genuine concern, isn't it? Like, no one wants to be involved in a pyramid scheme. I hope not. No one wants to be involved in a pyramid scheme or money chain and things like that, because it's illegal.
Right.
It's completely illegal. And in our business, first of all, our business, we get, like in the UK, we get our money into the bank. What that means is that whether we like it or not, we have to pay taxes on it because it comes directly into our bank account. Now, if it was an illegal business, will our money come into our bank accounts? No, it's not going to come into our bank accounts. It comes into my business account, and my husband's also my business partner, and into his personal account, and that's how we get the money. And so, yes. And why is this? What is the difference? What is a pyramid scheme? A pyramid scheme is basically where, you're just actually recruiting more and more people into the scheme, and there's no actual products or any services. But what we are offering is completely different. We are actually selling products and, digital and physical products in the background. That's what we are doing. So, that itself makes it like it's not a pyramid scheme, because pyramid scheme, the number one thing is there's no products or services involved, and that's why it's illegal, and that's why it doesn't like it. It's there for a few years, and then obviously when the recruitment drive ends, that stops, and then the people in the bottom lose all their money. And the problem with the pyramid scheme is always the person on top earns the most. In our business, the person who brings in the sale earns, then only somebody else earns in the business. Yeah, because obviously you think, why would someone else earn? To be fair, if you think of it, if someone's teaching you something, if you send your daughter or son for tuition, do you expect to get a free service for that? No. Like, I'm a business coach, I do coaching course, I mentor and train, just like Manu also. So when we say we mentor and train, we give our time to you. So obviously in the initial stage, when you're building up the business, there will be some form of like commissions coming to the your coach or your mentor, because we are teaching you something. But that doesn't mean you don't get your money. You get your money first. So a pyramid scheme is never that way. It's always the person on top, and the person who brings in the sale, if he's right at the bottom, person who comes right at the bottom will never get money. Then of course there is all these like MLMs and all of those things, like Amway and stuff like that. They expect you to keep buying products, all the time. Every month you're supposed to buy products, and usually it'll be some kind of vitamins or skincare or something like that. And every month you have to, because if you don't buy those products, you are never active in the business. Our business model is nothing like that. We don't have to keep on buying things or anything like that. And the thing is, and that's the beauty of our business, because life happens to everyone.
Right.
And if we say, like, there's a death in the family, I need to go back home, and I am out of business for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks because I need to do something, that's absolutely fine. Because when you come back, you will be still in the same position. You never derank, you never lose anything at all. And because the business is actually working in the background, you kind of still make sales. I remember, like 18 months ago, my mother-in-law passed away. And I still remember, initially my husband went, because we didn't know, she was ill. She went. Then they are Catholics, so he went for the funeral, then I went for the 40th day. That's a customary thing that we do if you're Catholic. So I went for that. And I remember I made that month and all, I made 2 times and I was not doing much of the business. You have to imagine, I was not doing much of the business at that time, because I'm going for a funeral, I'm going for this ritual, the 40-day ritual and things like that. Hardly proper internet connection, because I'm going from one state to another and things like that. That month I earned twice as much as a GP. And that's the beauty. And when people say, and I was having like a life event happening, a very sad life event happening that time. We buried my mother-in-law. Then we had to do all these, there was these rituals after that and things like that. But still, because we have an automated system that runs in the background, you still earn money. And that is not there anything, because if you are on this recruitment drive, you're always on the grow, trying to recruit. We don't recruit. We don't go out and talk to people about. I have not talked to any of my friends, any of my relatives, nothing like that. Of course, people come to me and ask about the business. And when they come and ask me about the business, of course, I will tell you about the business. And, because I don't want at some point in my life when, me and my husband, like my husband's already retired. And if I retire in the next 2 or 3 years, if I want to, I don't want people to come and say, you've done this business, you've been so successful, but you have never shared this to me. I have made it a point that I'm so active, like none of my relatives, none of my friends or family or colleagues can ever say, Susie, why you didn't tell about the business? Because everyone can see me on social media. And of course, I'm giving, obviously I'm making you aware there is an opportunity like this to do. Okay, so I never recruit anyone. People come to me to see, when they see my success, they come to me and ask me, how do we go about the business? So that's number one. So there's no like recruiting drive, or because, and the thing is that you don't need to recruit people into this business to earn money, because you can do it otherwise also, which is different from a typical like a pyramid scheme and things like that. Yeah. And that's the benefit of when you have products in the background. People might just want the products, things like that. So there's a lot of things. So there's this completely different model than like a pyramid scheme or an MLM.
Great. Yeah, thank you. That was a very good explanation, Dr. Susie. Thank you so much. Yeah, like you said, I experienced the same thing. Like one time, I went home. I went for a regular vacation for 3 weeks, and then my mom got sick. She had to have an emergency surgery. I ended up staying home, and I did not have not even single more hours for me left to use for my vacation, because everything was used. And I stayed there, and I knew my next paycheck will be zero. So I came back, and I had all those checks waiting for me, which is much more than my paycheck, just like Dr. Susie said. And that's the beauty of this business. Like, it just becomes handy, just help you when you really need it. Dr. Mano, I have a question for you. So, what do you think? Who can run this business? Like age-wise, sex-wise, or profession? Like, is there any criteria, any requirements? And these are the questions that a lot of people ask many times. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think, I believe that there are a lot of people looking for opportunities to earn online. So I think that's the requirement. If anyone want to earn online, they can do this one. And if anyone want to stay home more rather than going out to work, they can do that, this business. And also, if someone is looking for more flexibility and more time freedom and money freedom and working from home, and I think they all are eligible for this business. And also, if someone is looking for ways to improve the life status, change the life for good, and they all are eligible. But if I say the legal requirement of the business, they should be adults, like 18 years old or more. And there's a wide age range in our business. Actually, we have like 19 years, 20 years, and we also have 65 years, 70 years or more as well. So it's a good wide age range in this business. So that means anyone above 18 years can do this business. And there's no sex difference. I mean, anyone can do this. As anyone, male or female, or any gender, or I mean, there's no gender preference or gender requirement or anything like that. Anyone can do this business. There are some visa requirements depending on the country. So when you are interested, I mean, they can discuss with your mentor or someone who you are inquiring. But those are, because this is a legal business. So depending on the country you live, there are requirements to do a business, and they can be discussed, and there are people to help on that. Also, there is no need of any previous experience, IT knowledge, marketing knowledge, or business knowledge, because we are gonna, this system will give you everything, all the knowledge and experience and the resources. So anyone can do that. I think I will simply say, I mean, the eligibility criteria is if anyone want to earn online, that's the requirement.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Mano. I have one last question for Dr. Susie, and then we will wrap this up. I know we will let you go, Dr. Mano and Dr. Susie. One last question for Dr. Susie. What do you think is the benefit, or is there any benefit at all for this business compared to our traditional other businesses?
Yeah. So yes, definitely, because I started becoming entrepreneurial about 4 years ago now. And when I started, because the thing is, what people generally do when they think of business and earning money, lucrative money, is things they like property. So I've done property, I've done crypto. So like that, I've done a few other things also in the middle. And what I understood about some of the things is, especially property business, it is lucrative, don't get me wrong, and it is lucrative and it is a good business. But I was working as a full-time GP, like 5 or 6 days a week. And property means you have to have an eye on them. And sometimes you need to go to these places physically, check the property before you close the deals and things like that. That means, either had to take annual leave, or I have to go after work, drive to these places. It was really hard work. And then when we asked them, realtors, we call them estate agents here, and we asked them, okay, can I view the property at 7? And they'll be no, because they finish work at 5 or 6, so they don't want to stay to show us the property and things like that, because that's not their working hour. And I'm a GP, I finish probably 6:30 or something, like sometimes like that, isn't it? Or even 7, or sometimes it depends on when I finish work. So I found it like property for me was more tedious, in the sense like I didn't have the flexibility. It started feeling like, although I made money, it started feeling like it was another job, because it's like you have to be physically present to be make a profit in property. Of course, now people say, oh, you can just tie up with another person or do a virtual thing and things like that. If you do that, you'll have to part with your paycheck a bit, because you can't do that for free, isn't it?
Right.
So those sort of things is there. So when you deal with property, and I was like, I really don't like the idea of people calling me middle of the night saying their plumbing is a problem and things like that. So this is fantastic. I do the business when I feel like doing it. If I don't, like, I do every day the business, but it's flexible. I spend about an hour a day, but it is completely flexible. I do maybe 15 minutes before going for work, then 15 minutes in between. If I don't have the time that day because I'm busy at work, I don't do it. I come back, and if I'm really tired, I just take a bit of a break before I do the business. But when I was doing property, it was like I was time constrained, because there's no flexibility. You have to work around the other people, because that's their time schedule. And of course, when you own a property and when you are dealing with tenants and things like that, you have to deal with things 24/7 when you're in bed. It was like being 24-hour duty kind of thing, because you don't know when something happens and they are unhappy or something like that. So it was a bit of a thing. That's the problem with the traditional business. It feels more like another job, because you have to, if you have a shop, you need to be there. Your presence need to be there. While we have only a virtual shop, so what's the beauty about that? You take your business with you wherever you go. So it doesn't feel like work. Like, I kind of enjoy, I make a lot of social media content. I love it, actually. It's relaxation kind of for me.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes what I do, it's like journaling my own life of the day, how I feel and what has, my business achievement that day, or how I'm feeling that day, what I did with my family maybe. So it's like writing a journal, really, for me. So for me, I don't think of it as work. Even what I do, I don't think of it as work. And of course, if someone wants to talk to me, today a couple of people call me in between work, and I said, I'm working at the moment. I'm only free between this and this time. If you want to have a chat, I can have that time. And then what so happened, my daughter came back from school today at 5 o'clock, exactly the time when I wanted to talk to them. And my daughter was, Mommy, I want to talk about university next year. I was like, okay. Then half an hour I was sitting, and then the person was calling me. I was like, I'm really sorry. I have to spend time with my daughter, just came back from school. I'll get back to you after I had a chat with her. Now, that is what I call time freedom. I decide when I talk to people, when I do my business, what time I do my business, how much I need to do the business, which is not possible when you do a physical, a traditional business, because you need to be there. And like things like property, things can go wrong, and you need to be present there all the time. So that is what I love about the. And of course, imagine working an hour a day and the potential of earning 2 to 3 times a salary of a GP. I never in my wildest dreams thought it was even possible. But that is because I just work 1 hour or 1.5 hours a day with the business, not more than that. But if I was to do this full time, obviously I would spend a bit more time. Yeah. And I am sure I would earn a lot more than that. And that is the potential, which you can never, because the thing is, we don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of expenses when it comes to an online. All you need is internet connection, which we all have anyway. You're not spending extra money for internet. You all have a laptop, you all have an iPhone. So what is the real expenses? It's very little compared to a traditional business where you have to have inventory, where you have to pay your staff. Then you have all those laws that you have to keep, all those extra things you have to pay for here and all. Something like, if you you have to keeping people's data and all. I had this time a letter from ICO, which is like our commissioning office for information, to make sure that we are storing data and things like that. I wrote back to them, I'm exempt because I don't store data. Bye. It was like, so imagine so much of all those things are exempt for us because we do social media marketing. We don't store people's data. Facebook and YouTube does. That's it. And that's in our policy. We don't, they are the ones who store the data and things like that. So that is the beauty. So there's very little upfront cost. Of course, there is an upfront cost. Don't be deceived. This is a business. This is not a job. So you can't, even if you have a job, like for me to become a doctor, my dad spent the money for me. He spent for my education. And what he spent for me to get back itself, I had to work several years to kind of earn that much money, because you don't earn when you just start off as a doctor. Yeah. So you have to think, even as a doctor, to become a doctor and start earning 5.5 years, someone's actually investing into your, either it's a student loan or your parents are grateful enough to pay for your education. So there is an investment there. So similarly, there is an investment here, but it is nothing compared to what you paid in university or things like that. And it's like if you are having children in the UK and US in university, it's nothing. It's not even nothing compared to what you're paying for them. So that too, you can earn all that back. I was I earned a lot more than what I paid in within a year. So that is the beauty about this business. Yeah, so it's just wonderful. That's why it's online is the way to go, really.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Susie. Yes, online, I know it's going to be digital even before we know everything is going to be digital. And and thank you so much. I know, like you said, that I know people that they haven't been able to go back home for years because they are running a business here, because they have if they're a grocery shop or they have a restaurant, they can just leave and go. And like with this, all you need is just take your laptop and your phone and go, and you're done. You are taking your business with you. So Dr. Susie and Dr. Mano, I will wind up now. I want to thank you. I know you have to go take rest. You're tired. Thank you so much for coming on my page. And everyone out there who are listening to us or who will be listening in future, please take action. If you are actually looking for an extra income, and this is a best platform for you, take an opportunity to check it out. Okay, the opportunity will knock at the door, and if we don't open the door, it will go to the door that will open for it. So let's just not miss it. And what you have to do is, you can either leave a comment or contact either one of us, or just register in our website. You can see that on the screens. The one starts with www. All of us has a website. You can register there. And once you put your name and email, you register. At that point, we will contact you, and you will be prompted to watch a webinar. It's a 90 minute. It's a free webinar that you'll be watching. You can either watch a replay, or you can register for live, which is every Tuesdays and Thursdays in US. It's 7 p.m. Central Time every Tuesdays and Thursdays live webinar. You can register for that, or you can watch replay. You will get an email with the links to register, and you will get a replay as soon as you log in, and then you go from there. Once you watch the webinar, the next step is pay $149 to get the full business informations unlocked. You will be watching a pre-coaching video, because that's the video you watch to get the information before you have a coaching call with your coach. Watch that, and at that point we'll be with you, we'll be guiding you through each step. You are not alone from until you say you don't need anyone, you are by your own independent. Will be with you. There is not even a single step that you are by yourself. So check it out. You're not losing anything by checking it out. So thank you everyone who watching us. Thank you, Dr. Mano, and thank you, Dr. Susie. You all have a good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.